welcome to our 6 steps to 6 figures free 5-day challenge. I'm Emma Hague and I'm here today with some pre-work for you. This is step 1 in our 6 steps to 6 figures. Sending out as pre-work because we've only got 5 days and we're going to cover the other steps over those 5 days. But I want to get you started with something that's really exciting and that I absolutely love to teach, and I think you're going to really enjoy it. So step 1 in our 6 steps is called branding with archetypes. Now, you don't need to worry about the branding bit for now. Essentially what it is creating a business that's authentic and unique to you. Okay, it's so important when you're trying to build a business that's going to bring you 6 or 7 figures, decent money in these times. So important that you are comfortable with the kind of business you've created and that you don't feel like you're faking it. You know that this business is built around you and your personality type and your core values. It's a huge piece of what we teach on our campus. And once we know what those character types are, what your archetypes are, it runs through everything that we do. It affects the kind of packages you create, the kind of clients that you attract, the prices that you charge, affects everything. So it's a really important piece of what we do. You don't have to complete it before the 5-day challenge. It will not affect anything if you don't. You can always do it afterwards. But it is the first step in the process that I take people through. So I have sent you an assessment, okay? You can see it here. It's called the Branding with Archetypes assessment. This is what I've sent you. And what I want you to do, if you can't print it off, it doesn't matter. You can just copy it down and do the work on a separate piece of paper. But basically there are a load of statements in here, okay? And I want you to go through every statement in this questionnaire, in this assessment, and rate it. Okay, and you're rating the statements from 1 to 5. 5 is that you strongly agree with the statement, and 1 is that you strongly disagree with the statement. Okay, so don't think too hard about it, just go with your intuition, go with your gut instinct, and you'll see, I don't know if you can see this on here, but every statement's got a little box, a line to a box, and that's where you need to enter the figure. So the first statement on here is, I love the idea of transforming something. Okay, so if you strongly agree with that, if you really do love the idea of transforming something, then you put a number 5 in this box here. Okay, if you really strongly disagree with that, then you put a number 1 or rate it in between. Okay, try to go higher or lower. Try not to have a load of 3s, a load of, well, I'm not really sure, because that will not help us. You need to commit, okay, one way or the other. So I want you to answer, I want you to put a rating for each of these statements. Okay, it should be fairly self-explanatory. There's a little line after each statement to the box that you need to fill in. And there are, how many have we got? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 pages. Okay, there are 4 pages of questions. And at the bottom of each page, in fact at the bottom of each column, you can see there are some totals. Again, should be fairly straightforward because there are arrows showing you where to put your totals. So it will ask you to total column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, column 5, column 6, and you just need to add all your answers up in that column and put the totals at the bottom. Okay, hopefully fairly straightforward. When you finish that, so when you've completed all of these 4 pages and put your totals at the bottom, you need to transpose them onto the last sheet. Okay, this is the last sheet. This is where all your totals are going, right? And again, you'll see, fairly self-explanatory, it wants you to put the totals in for each column. You'll see as you do this, you just transpose the totals from each column from those question pages onto this back page, and then you're going to add them up. Okay, so you're going to add the total of column 1 to the total of column 13, add it up and put your total in here. Okay, and then add column 2 to column 14 and put the total in here. Okay, once you've done that, you will get a load of grand totals down here. Okay, and there'll be sort of 36, 45, those kind of numbers. And what you need to do is look down this grand total column and pick the two highest, find the two highest scores that you've got. Okay, so the highest score here is what we call your signature archetype, and the second highest score is what we call your influencing archetype. Okay, and you write them in here. So the highest score you'll put down as your signature archetype, second highest you'll put as your influencing archetype. Now, the archetypes are things like alchemist, maverick, humanitarian, artist. There are 12 of them here. And as I say, they're kind of the sort of character types. They are personality types that are well recognized all around the world. You know, as soon as you say somebody's a real romantic, you get the gist of what kind of a person they are. And it's that archetype that we want you to base your business around, okay? So you have a signature archetype, which is your main archetype. Then you have an influencing archetype, which is sort of secondary, which really makes you unique to anybody else, okay? So when we are branding businesses or when we are putting businesses together, we do it with this in mind. So if you are a romantic archetype, for example, everything that we do comes back to that romantic archetype. Well, is this what a romantic archetype would do? Is this what a romantic personality would do? Okay. Now, the reason for that, it's to give you confidence in what you're doing and to know that you are creating something that is authentic and you don't feel like you're trying to be somebody you're not. But it's also to attract your ideal clients, okay? Because your ideal clients will be attracted to your particular archetype, and you need to make sure that you are expressing that through everything that you do, okay? Through the way that you speak, the way you dress, your marketing, everything needs to speak to the people who are attracted to your archetypes, okay? So the other thing I have done is to provide you with a summary sheet. So the archetypes are all on these cards. Now, you won't be getting these cards as part of the 5-day challenge. These are for my bootcamp registrants, but so that you've got the vital pieces, what I have done is create a PDF for you, which shows you this, okay? Shows you your spiritual contract for your signature archetype. So my signature archetype is ruler, okay? So, for example, the spiritual contract for my archetype says, the spiritual contract of a ruler is to create order, peace, and prosperity. The ruler's mission is to create structure so others can prosper. Though often quiet, they are commanding, authoritative, and have little patience for ambiguity. The ruler archetype appeals to our desire to feel important, in control, and in charge. Ruler brands help us become the king, queen, or goddess of our domain. While the ruler can seem domineering or autocratic, their true gift is in empowering leadership, prosperity, and success in others. Okay, and there's a spiritual contract for every different archetype. So I've provided a sheet for you with those spiritual contracts on. Once you've worked out what your archetypes are, I want you to look down that and find your archetypes and read the spiritual contract. Okay, and I want you to just find a quiet space, read it, and really think about it. Think about how it relates to you, how it relates to your personality, how it relates to your values, how it relates to how you want to serve people, and just see what you come out with. Now, as I say, there's lots more to these, and we do lots of other work around this in the boot camp. But for this week, all I want you to do is to basically get clear on what your archetypes are and embrace them. Okay, you might not be happy with the archetype that you come out with, but this assessment doesn't lie. Okay, these statements that you're answering have been structured in a very particular way that gets really deep into who you are, you know, at a soul level. So these answers that you come out with are never inaccurate, okay? Unless you have a tie of 5 different archetypes, you know, we're all with the same score, then we need to chat, okay? But I want you to embrace your archetypes. I want you to think about what this means. You know, what this means about you, what it means about the business you're going to create. And if you're not joining us in the bootcamp, which is fine, you can research these. So if you come out with a ruler archetype or a maverick archetype or an artist archetype, do some research on Google, find out what kind of words they might use, how they might dress, other kinds of artist brands or maverick brands or innocent brands, whatever you come out with. You can really use this information that you come out with from this assessment to do on your own, if that's what you want to do. Obviously, as I say, if you join us in the bootcamp, you'll get the access to the PDFs of the full cards, and we do lots of other work on your unique brilliance. But first step for this free challenge is work out what your signature archetype and your influencing archetype are. Let me know, because I'm very nosy and I like to know. I absolutely love this work. We do such a lot of work on our campus on self-image and self-confidence, because creating a business that you are 100% in love with is about getting to grips with who you are, accepting who you are, loving who you are, and becoming the person you need to become to achieve the things you want to achieve. So it's such a huge piece, really powerful piece. Let me know how you get on. Post any questions in the Facebook group or bring them to the Facebook Lives next week. You're more than welcome to do that. I'd love to hear what you come up with. I will speak to you later.